If you're somebody who loves being in the outdoors, you're probably going crazy with cabin fever right now. Well, these are my top 5 tips for creative travel during the COVID crisis. Well, what's up guys? How you living? Hope you're doing well today wherever you are, whatever you're up to. I had to get out of the house today because I was going a little bit stir crazy with all the isolation. And of course, isolation doesn't mean not getting outside, but sometimes we kind of get stuck in our ruts and we just sit on that couch, watch that Netflix, read those books, and we never get outside. So depending on when you're watching this, or maybe where you are in the world, or if you're in a rural setting or maybe an urban setting, whether you've got tight restrictions where you live or really lax restrictions where you live right now as far as staying in place or self-isolation, it's gonna be easy or maybe a little bit more of a challenge to try out some of these ideas, but I've tried to give you a real variety of them. Whatever your situation is though, I just want to encourage you to adhere to the guidelines of your local area. If they say don't go outside, then don't go outside. I'm in a beautiful oceanside community that doesn't have a lot of people in it right now, so it's really easy for me to get outside, to walk around, to explore, and to share these ideas with you locally right now. That may not be the case where you are, but that's okay. These are still 5 great ideas. Well, I had to change locations for tip number 1 because tip number 1 has to happen in my backyard, and it's camping. But not in a campsite because those are closed right now. It's camping in your own backyard. I didn't want to take the time to set up a tent back here, so here's a picture of one. And I mean, even if you don't have a backyard, maybe you've got a balcony, maybe you've got a patio, or if the weather is still horrid where you are and maybe there's snow on the ground or the rain's coming down, maybe you've got like a family room or a living room, you could set up a tent in to have a little camp out. It's a great way to have an adventure and still respect the stay home policy and all the rules around your region. So that's tip number 1. Travel tip number 2 is similar to it. It's local, but it gets you off your property, because this one is about going on a day trip. Think of a place that's only a few hours away. It takes less than a day to get there and get home. You don't have to overnight in any hotels or stay at any friends' homes or anything, so the social distancing thing is A-okay, but it might mean you gotta pack a lunch, bring a mixtape, and put a little money aside for gas. But that's okay, because gas prices are super low right now, so this is a great idea. Plan the trip solo, or if you can still abide by the rules by having somebody else in your car, then invite a friend or family member along with you for the adventure. Maybe pick a place you've never been before, so when you get there, it's a whole new experience for you. And do a little bit of research before you leave on Google to find out some interesting facts about it. So when you get there, you know what you're looking for, you know where you should stop, you know where you can take in the sights, and have a great experience. So that's tip number 1 and tip number 2. And now we're gonna get out of my backyard. Well, tip number 3 is going to be going on a hike. Now, there's a few things you've got to do to make this thing work. First of all, it's got to be local. You don't want to be too far from home for this. Second of all, you got to make sure the trails are wide enough that you can self-distance if you happen to come along somebody else and you have to pass them. The third thing is you got to make it low risk. You don't want to be twisting an ankle and ending up going to a hospital or a clinic near you. Healthcare workers have other things they need to focus on right now. So whether it's a regional park, a provincial park, a state park, whatever it is, make sure it's open first. Maybe it's a city walk, wherever it is, make sure it's open first, abide by your local regulations, and bang, you're outside enjoying some fresh air. Okay, Tip number 4 for travel during this time is to find memory lane. Now, I don't know where memory lane is for you in the community you live in, but it's got to be somewhere that you can go to that causes you to think back to the past and creates a space for you to reflect on lessons learned, good or bad, that have made you who you are today, and maybe even some thoughts that can encourage you to be a better person than you were even back then. For me, it's this spot right here. It's the old elementary school I went to when I was just a little young Dan out adventuring in the playground. I think it was grade 2, 3, 4, and 5 that I went to this place. It's not a school anymore, now it's a community center, and it's kind of a bit run down, but at the time it was absolutely amazing. I love this place. Let me show you a little bit more about some of the memories I have of this spot. This place right here, this was the forest that was behind the school. We'd go in there at lunchtime and play capture the flag or tag. Crazy games, crazy times. It was so fun to have a forest behind the school. So travel tip number 5 is pretty easy. It's jumping on your laptop wherever you want to be and going for a virtual trip to wherever you want to be. So in order to do this today, we're going to be using Google Earth. If you've never used this website, it's phenomenal. Google has gone out of its way to amass images from all over the planet, street views from all over the world, and you can simply access it by going to Google Earth online. I'm going to type in Old Montreal in Quebec. Charlene and I visited this place last year. Google Earth will immediately take you to an overview of the city. And then by double-clicking on where you want to go, it'll dive you down deeper into the roads and the streets. Occasionally, you'll see these blue pins, like this one on Nelson's Column. If you click on it, it'll open up another box and give you more information on that landmark. It's a great way to learn. Okay, now it's time to go from one waterfront location to another. Let's type in Venice in California. You'll see that it gives an overview of the location and then dives me deep into the heart of this community. Now here's the real power of Google Earth. Over here on the right, there's this little guy. I'd take him and drag him and drop him wherever I want to on the map, and all of a sudden, I'm on street level. By dragging around on the screen, I can turn my virtual head and check out the beach, the palm trees, the shops, and even see people walking along the boardwalk. So that's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed these top 5 ways to travel during this really unique time in the history of our planet. Hey, if you like this video and you want to see more, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring that notifications bell so it lets you know when the next video comes out. Anyway guys, it's been awesome to hang out with you. It's time for you to get off your couch and get outside and explore creation, either in real life or through a screen. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.